Good morning. I'm going to do today another practice that uses the wall as a prop. I did a couple of these earlier this week, last week, and I've been asked to do a little bit more. I've been asked to work on two postures. One is the dolphin pose, so we'll have a play around with that, like a forearm dog. And the other is more work on ardha chandrasana, the half moon pose. So we're building towards playing around with those postures with support from the wall. We'll just do a little bit of opening up first. So come onto your hands and knees, come into tabletop pose. And just find your foundation, take a breath, exhale down into all four corners of the posture. And we'll just start with a bit of opening around the shoulders. So you take your right arm forward and then up and around. You just open the chest and the front of that right shoulder. And we'll do that maybe another 2 or 3 times. So I'm doing this first thing in the morning. If you're doing this early in the day as well, you'll notice that the body always feels a little bit more restricted. First thing in the day, I'm going to do one more. So round we go and open the shoulder. And then just change the side. So left arm coming around, opening, and again. And one more. Good. And then just coming back to your tabletop pose. And we'll just start to move the energy here a little. So take your right arm forward and your left leg back. And then as you exhale, draw in towards your center. And as you inhale, just moving away. And exhale and come in. And inhale and move away. And just do that twice more. And again. Good, and then come back to the center and just change the side. So right leg, left arm, and exhale in, and inhale away. Exhale in, inhale away. Again. And again. Good, and then just resting down. We want to find ourselves in a place where we can put one foot on the wall with that leg out straight, but close enough to the wall that we can find a really clear connection through the sole of the foot and the wall. So seeing if you can find that right place. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to make an adjustment. See if you can find the right place, have a little glance back. Ideally, you want your leg to be parallel to the floor. And really send energy into that foot here. And then see if you can take the arm away and find a really steady place here. Now try not to collapse into your shoulder or your lower back. And take one more breath. Good. And then we try and turn this into the modification, the kneeling version of ardha chandrasana. So You just turn to one side, make again any adjustments that you need to make. And certainly when we do this posture, what I've done here with my back foot is something that we tend to do. We step that foot out to give us another point of balance. Today, see if you can bring that left foot back in so it's in line with your hand and your knee. And what you're using as that extra point of balance is this foot and this leg. So again, you push into the wall. You really find that stability. Play around with it again. We want to feel not so much that we're really heavy into this hand, but that by putting energy out through that leg, we feel a bit lighter in the balancing hand. So you send the energy out through the leg and feel that you not only press into the wall, but that you resist up as well. So as if you're trying to push your foot up the wall, and that will firm into the side of your body, into your lateral hip, into your quadratus lumborum, and into your side waist, into your obliques. If you can feel that activation and that support, maybe take the arm up, complete the posture. And then just a little play with those same things on the other side. So you take your left foot back, find that right place for you with the foot on the wall. Send energy out through the leg so you feel that you can straighten your leg and you press really firmly into your foot. And then maybe you can take the right arm forward as well. Be mindful that you're not overextending, you're locking your left elbow here. Nice long breath. And again here, it's useful to resist up a little bit, as if you're trying to push your heel up the wall. And down, and shifting onto the side. So you can turn this foot out while you make the shift. And then when you think you're in the right place, you bring this foot back into alignment. So your hand, your knee, and your foot on the right side are all on the same plane. And then you start to try and find, you're looking for opening through this right hip and through the inner leg line here. And then again, press the foot, resist up, so you feel that you're a little bit lighter in this front hand, that you're supported through the side body, you're waking up, you're activating the muscles in your left side. And then the arm comes up. Take a steady breath. And then slowly we come down. Good. So take a downward facing dog from here. And really just to open the legs and the shoulders. And downward dog. And give the feet here a good pedal. Move the hips. Let the shoulders open. Take 1 or 2 long breaths. Again, just be sure that you're not overextending your elbows. You're spreading through your hands, really connected to your foundation. Gaze is back. Parse the knees, the feet. The back of the neck is nice and long. Take 1 more breath. Maybe move through the feet and the legs again. And when you're ready, just resting down. You can sit back, take a second here in child's pose. So you just reach back, feel the lower back open, nice flexion in the hips and knees, put your forehead on the floor. You bring yourself very slowly up. We're coming over and onto our back. So we're going to take a stretch out through the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, the inner leg lines, the adductors. Useful if you have a strap for this. If you don't have a strap, you can use a scarf or any like a dressing gown cord, anything that will work here. You're coming over and onto your back. And we need to be close enough to the wall that we can really connect the sole of the foot to the wall here. So scooch in a little bit and then press the foot and press yourself away so you feel that you're really connected there, that the leg is straight and active, and you're pressing into, if you can, all four corners of that left foot. The right knee will come in towards you, and you can just hug this in for a breath or so. And then when you feel ready, extend the leg up here. Now, I know that some of you can do this posture catching your toe, and it's fine to do it this way, but be sure that you're still aligning in your shoulders and your upper back. So if this version takes your right shoulder blade away from the floor, use a belt. And we want to take hold of the belt as close to the foot as we can without uprooting the right shoulder. You might want to wrap your belt around your hand so that you don't have to grip too hard here. You press the foot into the wall. You square the right hip away from you, so you keep the right side of your waist nice and long. And you just gently come into a hamstring opening here. You pull up your kneecap and thigh on this side, so you engage your quads a little bit to help you straighten your leg. You take one more breath. And then we start to open the inner thigh, the inner leg line, by taking this leg out to the side. Now, you want to keep the tension on your hamstrings, and you keep sending your energy out and into your left foot. You really need to press that left foot to the wall, because that's going to help to stabilize so that you don't tip over to the right as you shift the weight of the right leg. So really work through your left leg. You're trying to keep your pelvis as still, as stable as you can as you open your inner right leg line. We're not looking to drop this leg all the way to the floor. Usually that will mean that we've just let the whole posture collapse over to the right. So you're just coming into what feels like a nice opening for you. There's work through your center and your left leg to keep the position stable. You might like to release your head to the left. Just open the right side of your neck. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, with control, you come back and to the center. We can release the right leg. And you start the same sequence on the other side. So you're bringing your left leg in, flexion in the hip. Again, if you need to feel firm into your right foot, you just move down the mat a little bit, press that right foot into your wall. And then coming into the posture, taking the belt around the foot. Again, take your time, be sure that it's comfortable, that it's right for you. Send the energy out into the right foot, really press into the wall, keep that right leg active. Make sure you're not letting your left hip creep up towards your left armpit. We tend to shorten the left side waist here. It makes it easier to bring the leg in. It's a little bit of a cheat that we maybe do inadvertently. So keep that hip squaring down away from your armpit. Find stretch in the back of your leg. Take a breath. Engaging your quads to help you straighten your leg. And then just slowly finding that inner leg line. Resist the temptation to put your elbow on the floor here to support your posture. Try and keep your posture supported and stable through the energy that you're sending into your right leg. And this applies in the same way if you're not using a wall. It's the energy in your right leg, and you dorsiflex the right foot and you send the energy out into the foot, down into the back of the leg to keep this posture stable. You might want to turn your head again. Just releasing the left side of your neck. And coming up. And releasing from here. Good. So bring both knees in. And when you're ready, come slowly. We're bringing ourselves onto our feet here. We're going to take another shoulder opener. This is a great way to release your shoulders. You need to find, again for yourself, your sweet spot. So you may be closer or a little bit further away from the wall depending on how open your shoulders are. But we'll start right here, and you might come in a little bit closer to the wall until you feel some opening in your right shoulder. Take a breath. And then you creep your right arm back to, it's about 2 o'clock. So we open. Now the tendency here will be to turn the body towards the wall. Try and keep your chest as much as you can square towards the long edge of your mat as you open through your shoulder. And if you find at this point that you need to edge a little bit further away from the wall, you can give yourself more space that way. So you take a breath or two here, and you're just trying to bring this right corner of chest forward as the arm opens back. So take a breath, and you'll feel the opening through the front of your shoulder into your chest. And then just moving the arm down a little bit to 3 o'clock or even 4 o'clock. Adjusting your closeness to the wall until you feel a stretch. And then taking a breath or two here. You might want to see if you can find some release in the neck here. So sometimes turning your head a little bit to the left or dropping your chin down. A long breath. Releasing from there. And then same thing to the other side. So you're taking your left arm up the wall, come in as close as feels good for you. Take a breath or two here. You maybe notice how this right arm feels. Sometimes feels a little bit longer. Just coming back to your 2 o'clock, giving yourself a little bit more space if you need to, and squaring that left, in this case, corner of your chest forward, so you feel the opening. Breathing here. And then maybe coming further. 4 o'clock, make an adjustment again if you need to. Square the left corner of the chest forward. Maybe turn your head to the right. Release the chin down. Maybe find a release in your neck as well. One more breath. Good. Releasing from there. Just notice how the arms feel. This is a nice release that you could maybe add into your day, especially if you work at a desk. You could maybe do that little shoulder open in your office. We're taking the legs a bit wider, turning the toes out. We're just waking up the legs here. So you're coming into a horse stance. Now, a lot of us in this posture will throw the hips and the pelvis back and the chest forward, so it's kind of more sumo than horse stance. Try and bring your sacrum and your upper back, your shoulders to the wall, and then sink down. You switch on your external rotators to draw the knees back, to open the inner leg lines. You draw the abdomen in towards the spine. You reach down through your tail. Just bring the hands in front of your heart here for a breath or two. Maybe one more breath. Good. Okay, bring yourself back in. Again, you might want to use your belt here. The standing version of Padangusthasana. So this is Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Standing close to the wall, but not so that you're leaning on the wall. Let's just have the wall here so that we can touch to the wall with the fingertips if we need to just re-establish our balance. And start with your right leg first. Just bringing the knee in and towards your chest. Now, remembering everything that you learn in the floor-based version of this posture, we don't want to let this hip lift towards the armpit. Keep reaching down through the sit bone. And we need to really send energy through the left leg and into the left foot without overextending the left knee. And then maybe we can straighten this right leg out again. So I'd say use a strap. You may not need to, some of us can catch the toe, but for most people, certainly catching the toe will bring the shoulder forward. So maybe use a belt for today. Really work on keeping the shoulders square. Drawing that leg in towards you, holding again as close to the foot as you comfortably can. Square your upper back. Stand down into that left foot. Just your left fingertips on the wall. Engaging the front of your thigh to help you open the back of your leg. And then opening out to the side. Now the propensity here is for us to turn the whole body to the right, but try and keep your pelvis square, keep your shoulders square, and just open again through the inner leg line. You could again just turn your gaze. A breath or two. Try and stay as much away from that wall as you can. Come back to your center. And releasing that side. So the same thing to the other side. You bring your left leg in. Maybe you have your right fingertips on the wall to help you stabilize. You could catch the toe if that works for you. For most of us, it pulls the shoulder forward a little bit. Even for me, I think it pulls the shoulder a little bit out of alignment. And to be honest, my legs are fairly short. The longer your legs are, the more difficult it is to catch that toe. So you can use a belt around your foot again. Just the fingertips on the wall. Try not to let this hip ride up, but drop down through that side of your pelvis. Try and straighten out that leg. Draw this shoulder back. And then opening through your inner leg line without turning your pelvis. Keeping the energy moving through both legs. See if you can find your balance, maybe turning your gaze. Breath or two. And back into your center. And then releasing. Good. Okay, so take a breath just in Tadasana here, see how you feel. And then take a turn towards the long edge of your mat. Now, we're coming into a warrior pose. And we want to have the outer edge of the right foot to the wall here, so that you can really send your energy down through your right leg and into that foot. You find the right space for your warrior pose, and you drop down into both sit bones. Now I want you to put your right hand here on the wall and work your warrior pose out a little bit longer, a little bit wider, until you feel that you can pretty much straighten this arm. We're pushing the right hip underneath the right armpit. A lot of us in warrior pose tend to do this. Okay, so we throw the torso out and over the front leg, so the warrior pose is here. Try and bring your spine to vertical. Try and bring your right hip right underneath your right armpit. Send the energy down into the outer edge of your right foot. Feel the inner arch and the inner ankle lift. Both sit bones drop, and then the arms extend. You take one more breath. Good. The back foot's going to stay in the same place. We're coming into a trikonasana, so you turn the toes out, straighten the legs. You might want a slightly shorter stance here, so make an adjustment if you need to. You extend out through both arms, and then just feeling the way that working through the back leg and into that back foot helps to send your energy out and into the posture, so you're lengthening both sides of your waist. You can really use this back foot here because it's not going to slide away from you. The inner arch is lifting. Open up through both sides. You're feeling this opening through your inner leg line. You keep your right hip moving back. You remember in the first strong wall practice, we were doing this posture with our back to the wall. You want that same idea of keeping on a nice even plane, so you're not throwing your chest forward and the hips back behind you. Keep it nice and open, and just come into your trikonasana. And take a breath or two. And then when you're ready, bend that front knee a little bit to come up and all the way in. We're going to take a look at ardha chandrasana from here, a half moon pose. So again, you'll need to adjust your step, and the first time you do this, certainly you'll need to play around a little bit with the distance. So have an experiment, bring yourself up, float up, try not to launch, and place your right foot on the wall here, and then you'll know if you need to just bring your left foot a little bit further back, maybe. Hello, Hazuka. And then find the right place here. You need again to be able to straighten this leg and send energy out and into the foot. And I want you to feel a few things here before we bring this into Ardha Chandrasana. I want you to feel that pressing into the foot gives you that stability. And the same idea of resisting up, as if you're trying to send your leg up the wall, okay, helps you to really switch on and stabilize through the trunk of the posture. And then when you feel that connection to the wall, you can start to bring yourself into the Ardha Chandrasana version. So we'll be turning the foot to the side so that your foot is parallel to the floor. So you begin to open your left hip here. Now, what we tend to do in this posture to give us stability is we stand the hand out a little bit wide so that we don't overbalance. Today, I'm going to ask you to try and bring that hand in line. Press into that wall. Use the connection through the wall to help you turn your pelvis and open your left hip. And then really feel into this idea of resisting up to switch on the muscles in the lateral body, in the lateral hip, in the side of your waist, so that the trunk maybe starts to feel lighter, so that it floats up, and eventually maybe we don't need to use this hand or this block. So you feel strong all the way through your posture. Make sure you're not overextending this leg. So if you can find just a moment or two of stability there. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself out of the posture, okay? Now, feel free just to pause here or to rewind and to play with that a little bit more. And then we'll come around and do the other side. So we start with our warrior pose. And again, just feeling that you really bring your spine to vertical, that both sit bones drop down evenly, that your knee is tracking out over your front toes. Press the outer edge of the foot into the wall there. Make sure the inner arch of the foot, the inner ankle are lifting rather than collapsing. Extend out through the arm. Press into the wall, outer edge of the foot and with the hand. One more breath. Okay, coming away from here, you might want to narrow the stance a little bit to come into your Trikonasana. So again, feeling the right place for you, extending out. Feel the energy moving through your left leg into the outer edge of your left foot, and start to send the energy forward. So you lengthen not just the top side of the body, but the underside here as well. So the femur of the right leg moves back towards the wall, and that side of your waist lengthens as you come into Trikonasana. Inner leg line opens. Reaching down through your tail. And remembering from the first wall practice how it really feels to keep this posture on one plane. And one more breath. Releasing from here, bend the front leg, pressing into your foot, coming up. And then again, making adjustments. You'll need to shorten the length of your step a bit to come into ardha chandrasana, but play with it in the same way that you did last time. Shift the weight onto the front foot, right foot in this case, left foot comes to the wall. So square to the mat to begin with, like a flying warrior pose, Virabhadrasana 3. Press into the foot. See if you can find that connection to the wall and make an adjustment if you need to. We want to feel that sort of lightness when we feel the connection. And then we can think about bringing ourselves into ardha chandrasana. So you're opening through the inner right leg line, turning your left foot. You might bring your hand to a block here. Standing it out wider than your foot will give you more stability. That's our usual cheat in ardha chandrasana, bringing it in line with your foot to make the posture more challenging, and then coming up. And then you work on really activating the left leg, opening through your inner right leg line. Pressing into the wall, resisting up to switch on the side body, and then feeling that you can let your torso float here. For a breath or two. Make sure you're not overextending the right knee. And if you have a tendency to let this knee roll in, feeling that you're resisting out through the foot here, as if you're trying to externally rotate your foot, will just help to keep that knee tracking in the right direction. You take a breath or two, really open up if it feels okay for you, and then when it's enough, you step out of the posture. So you take a breath here. That's hard, challenging work in your legs. So take a nice, easy forward fold. Just drop yourself down, support on your thighs for the first breath or two. Release into the forward fold more freely when you feel ready. Make sure that you've not gathered tension in your neck or your shoulders. Take a big sigh. And then when you're ready, you can just walk back and down, maybe into child's pose, and just take a moment here for yourself to rest. Okay, the second posture that I've been asked to play with here is the dolphin pose, the forearm dog. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas here. I'm not suggesting that you do all of these variations, but just beginning to feel and play with the posture. I'm aware that we're all at different stages in our practice, so you might just want to stay with the basic pose. You might want to lift it up onto your forearms if you're feeling strong. So I'll show you the ideas, and then you can build and play with them in your own practice, in your own time. So we're bringing the forearms to the floor. We're bringing ourselves up as if we're coming into a downward facing dog. Make sure you've got good foundation in your forearms, roughly parallel in your forearms. You bring yourself slowly up. Now, if you're thinking about walking this up the wall, you need to be reasonably close. If you just want to play with the posture, you might like it to be a little bit longer. So again, you just need to play with your distances a little bit. And as with the work that we were doing in handstand to the wall in the first wall practice, it's really useful if you can maybe get someone just to take a picture of where you are in space. A few people sent me those pictures and it was really good to see you doing the work. But it helps, you know, it's very difficult when you're upside down to tell whereabouts in space you are. So your first version is just a very simple version of a forearm dog. If you'd like to take it a little bit further, you can bring yourself to the wall in a similar way to we did in our handstanding practice. And we press into the forearms, open the shoulders. The head is not on the floor here. You can take a breath or two. And of course you have the option, you need to be very rooted through your left foot, and you could then play with just taking that right foot away. And of course you'd want to do that same thing to the other side. When it feels like enough, you bring yourself down very gently and into your child's pose. Now, you might like to simply stay here now in child's pose and let the tension drain away from your shoulders. You could even bring yourself up and just repeat your shoulder clock to release any tension from your shoulders. I'm going to show you one more version here. So this is facing the wall the other way around. And bringing your forearms to the mat with your fingertips very close to the wall. And bringing yourself up into that forearm dog or dolphin pose again. And again, you can stay here, this is fine. You press into your forearms to help you open your shoulders. A few breaths. If you'd like to play with this, you can walk it in a little bit closer and take one leg up. And you might feel from here that there's potential for you just to pop yourself up and into the forearm balance. So the feet come to the wall in this case. Try not to collapse in your shoulders. We may or may not be able to just lift away from that wall for just moments, little glimmers of balance here. And then coming, when you're ready, slowly down. Good. So drop back into child's pose here, most certainly. Give the shoulders a rest. Good. I think for most of us, all of us probably here, that's enough work for today. Close your practice with a restorative posture, maybe use the wall. We worked with a lot of these more restorative postures in the first wall practice, the light wall practice, but I'll give you some variations again. So coming in nice and close to the wall with the legs up. Of course, this is a lovely version. Just simple, legs up the wall, open the arms out, let the tension go from your shoulders. If you would prefer to release your inner leg lines, you could come into Baddha Konasana version here, or maybe the squat version here. This is lovely. Or a wide-legged version here. It's maybe best not to do as I'm doing and go through all of the postures for just a second or two, but choose one and be with that posture for a few breaths. And you allow, with each exhale, some of the effort of this practice to drain away from your body, from your shoulders, from your neck, from your legs. We can sigh the breath away if it helps. Feel free to stay here for longer, or to take this into a more classical version of Shavasana. Or to bring yourself into a few minutes of meditation. So think about what you need to do here and what time you have. You know, if you have plenty of time, you might like to do one or two of these more restorative wall postures. A nice long Shavasana. And then a little bit of meditation also. But for today, I'll leave you here to find your own way to closing your practice and relaxing. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.